Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aisling and can you believe we're already at the end / beginning of a new month and we are back to TBR time. So it's time for the June TBR and every month I say it and every month I feel it. Where the hell did that month go? But anyway, this month I'm planning to read basically 5 books again. Usually I go a little bit over, but I never want to pressure myself just in case. Gives me a bit of space then to wiggle things around, to mood read a little bit, you know, that sort of thing. But this book that I'm planning to read this month, the first one, is one that I got from the library and I was hoping to have it to read the month just gone, but it didn't come in time and I have it now, and it is Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. I won't lie, I'm a sucker for a gimmick. I've never read a Grady Hendrix book before, but this one stood out to me purely because it is made to look like an IKEA catalogue. So it is basically a horror story set in a furniture store, and there is a lot of text in it, excuse me, and it is a novel, but it also has chapter headings with photos of different furniture. So basically my understanding of this is that there is a furniture store in Cleveland in Ohio and strange things are happening. I believe it's kind of modeled around the IKEA design, and some staff members decide to stay overnight to figure out what's going on, and that's pretty much all that I know about it. I've heard very mixed things about this book. I've heard some really great things and some really not so great things, but honestly I'm here for the gimmick of it. I'm not much of a horror reader, but I won't lie, this one has piqued my attention. I'm going into it relatively blind, given that I don't know all that much about it. I hope that I enjoy it, but like I said, I'm not much of a horror reader, and also I just feel like it'll be awkward to read, you know, I'm in bed and it's like really big, but we'll give it a go anyway. And sure, if it's terrible, I didn't buy it, did I? I got it from the library, so I can always bring it back. I'm moderately hopeful for this one, so I'll let you know how that goes. The next one then, as you can see by the way, I dressed up in my finest pajamas for you. You're welcome for that. The next one is also actually another horror. Again, it was a hold that came into my library. I had it ordered for a while and I finally managed to collect it today, and it is The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. And again, I don't know a whole lot about this. I don't even think I've read the blurb. I've heard it's pretty scary, I've heard it's really good. I guess I'm in the mood for having the socks scared off me, shall we say. I'll quickly run through the blurb because I literally can't speak about this book because I know nothing about it at all. So this is the story of a murderer. Weird that, right? Why do all these stories involve murders? A stolen child. Revenge. This is the story of Ted, who lives with his daughter Lauren and his cat Olivia in an ordinary house at the end of an ordinary street. Is Taylor Swift's cat named Olivia? Olivia Benson? All these things are true, and yet some of them are lies. You think you know what's inside the last house on Needless Street. You think you've read this story before. In the dark forest at the end of Needless Street, something lies buried, but it's not what you think. I hope it's treasure and not a body. So that's that. I actually genuinely don't know much about it, but there is a blurb on the front here from Corinne Millwood Hargrave. She wrote one of my favourite books, The Mercies, and also The Dance Tree, which I read last month. I'll speak about that in my upcoming wrap-up. But she said, it's a masterclass, it's unsettling, beautiful, sad and wise. So naturally, that sounds good. We're going to give it a go. I might not manage them both. I don't know what it is about scary books. I find them so much more unsettling than the likes of like a scary film or something, like, because with a scary film you can close your eyes and it'll still happen, but with a scary book you have to keep reading because that's the only way you're going to get through the story, so you have to inflict upon yourself. I have 3 more books and they are all sequels. They are all fantasy sequels of books that I actually read in May, which I will speak about the first installments of each of the series in my wrap up. 2 of them are part 2 of the series and 1 of them is part 3. So firstly, last month I read City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, so the first in the Mortal Instruments books, And this month I'm gonna do something that is really unlike me, and I'm gonna try to continue immediately with a series so I don't completely forget it before I try to read the next installment. So this one is part 2, as I said. Would you believe I went into a bookshop to try to buy this, and in this bookshop I know that they sell these for in and around €12, right? Which is fine, I was happy enough to buy it, and they didn't have it, so I just happened to pop into another bookshop on my way back to my car, and would you believe it, I got all 6 books in a set for €20. Still can't believe it. €20, like brand new, not secondhand or anything. Madness. So naturally I bought them, and now I have to read them because I shouldn't be buying books because I have far too many on my shelves to read as it is. I actually don't particularly know what this book is about. I know that I found the first book okay. It's a young adult series, and we follow Clary Frey as she is brought into the world of the Shadowhunters, a world that, well, I can't say that because that's a spoiler. I almost said it, but I won't. That's all I'm going to give you. She lives in New York. She's a teenager. She has a really great best friend called Simon. He's lovely. And then she has a romantic interest. I won't tell you who that is because that would also spoil that on you. But there is a revelation at the end of that book, and let me tell you, like, my jaw hit the floor. Like, hit the floor. Hit the deck. Wasn't expecting it. So I was like, right, we're going on to City of Ashes. So the blurb on the back just says, haunted by her past, Clary is dragged deeper into New York City's terrifying underworld of demons and shadow hunters. But can she control her feelings for a boy who can never be hers? I can't speak about what I want to speak about because I will spoil the book, but that blurb just kind of has me feeling it like a certain type of way, and I'm looking forward to reading it. That's all I can say. So that's book number 3 of 5. The next book, which is part 2 of a trilogy. The third book actually hasn't been released yet, so hopefully that'll be soon. I actually never looked that up. I don't even know if it's been written yet or what the story is, but it might be nice to kind of be able to be caught up in the hype of a series, because like I said before, I never really read the sequels to series. I'm terrible for starting them and then being like, oh, I'll read the next one. Maybe after I finish this one, if I enjoy it, I can get caught up in the lovely hype of the third one coming out and buy it and read it immediately, and wouldn't that be fun? I swear it's never even happened to me before. But anyway, this book is Bloodmarked. It is the second book of the Legendborn series by Tracy Deonn. So we follow Bree Matthews, I believe, and she is in a school. She's a gifted child, so it's basically in a college. They don't really have these here, so I can't remember what they're called, but it's where kids who pass a series of tests or an exam or something or other, anyway, they end up kind of in college but as like below college students. I don't really know what we call that. I can't remember. I loved the first book. It had magic, it had racism, it had colonialism, it had romance, it had monsters, it had demons, it had a little bit of a love triangle. Generational trauma. Let's never forget the generational trauma. That book was so good. But so I'm gonna read this one this month. I only read it, Legendborn, in May, which I'll speak about properly in my wrap up. But I'm really looking forward to this. And the blurb again. All Bree wanted was to uncover the truth about her mother's death, so she infiltrated the Legendborn Order, a secret society descended from King Arthur's knights. Oh yeah, there's King Arthur in this too. Only to discover her own ancestral power. Now Bree has become someone new, but the ancient war between demons and the Order is rising to a deadly peak. And I'm not going to read any more of that because it will spoil the first book. I would recommend reading Legendborn if you're in the mood for something that's really quick paced, that's a bit of fun, if you like a bit of fantasy, a little bit of magic, something with a bit of representation as well. Legendborn, very good, very good. And also what's very good is a book or a series, well, a trilogy that will need no introduction. Look at me, I'm just about to finish a series for like the first time ever. The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I read The Dragon Republic in May, and oh my god, R.F. Kuang is gifted, talented, skilled, so good at researching, so good at twisting a story together, so good at tying up loose ends, so good at world building, just so good. So I read The Dragon Republic, and it had been about 2 years since I read The Poppy War, and I had forgotten how dark it is, and it absolutely blew me out of the water, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I don't know if the blurb is safe to read. Maybe we'll leave it off just in case. Again, I would really recommend reading the Poppy War trilogy. Well, I can't speak for this book, but I can't imagine it'll be too disappointing. I haven't read any of her other books, so Babel and now Yellowface as well. So Yellowface has just been published, I believe, and I have Babel on my Kindle. And for all of the absolutely fantastic reviews I've heard about it, we call it Babel over here. Sorry pals who call it Babel. It's always been the Tower of Babel to me. So I've heard mixed things about it. For all of the really good reviews I've heard about it, I've heard some people that would have very similar tastes in books to me weren't sold on it. And I don't know, I don't feel that inclined to read it. I know I will, because oh my god, I will be looking for more R.F. Kuang in my life. Also, aren't these covers quite lovely? Don't read the blurb. Just show you the back really quickly. So that is my 5 hopefuls for June. Also, there were some other books that I was considering including, but I don't want to overdo it. And I would be starting 3 more series if that was the case. So maybe I should hold them horses and go with what we have. Don't overdo it. Don't get over enthusiastic about finishing all these series, because my god, there are a lot of series out there, and there's so many series out there that I really want to start as well. Like, this is getting a bit much. I guess I am in my fantasy / horror / speculative fiction era. Most of the books on my shelves are contemporary fiction, which would normally be my jam, like literary fiction, but I've been looking at them lately and I'm like, don't really want to read that. Hopefully my mood goes back to those books, because otherwise I have a lot of books there that I'll never read, and it'll be an awful waste of money, won't it? That's enough of me babbling. Says you, says I, says everybody. I hope that you are minding yourself. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you think of them. Can you recommend any similar series to the Poppy War trilogy or to the Legendborn trilogy, because I'm really into them, and I would love to know if there's something kind of along either of those lines that I could read next. I'm gonna leave it there. If this was your kind of thing, don't forget to like, maybe subscribe. If not, that's okay. I hope you're minding yourself, and I shall talk to you next week. Enjoy yourself, be kind to yourself and be kind to other people, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.